Oh man.
Thing I love about Microsoft, you
Yep.
might be able to argue they had a little bit of a news yesterday, just a little bit.
Yes.
You don't think that maybe, especially because it's like I'll give the Surface Laptop SE some stuff, whatever. There's more devices, whatever available, because that's totally different org. But maybe
I
save
know.
the Game Pass title stuff for like another day or.
Yep. Yep. All of it, both of it. You know, as I sort of, I think I said this on Twitter. It's like if you have an announcement today, just wait,
It just
wait.
it doesn't matter what industry you're in. A $70 billion acquisition is just going to clear the deck of.
Yeah, like Exxon Mobil's going to merge with some other company. Whatever it is, who cares? Wait till tomorrow.
Unless it's a negative one. I guess, did anybody dump news? I guess Peloton sort of dumped news yesterday. That
Right.
they hired McKinsey to come in and do a cost structure analysis, which really means they
Oh, that's
hired them
always
to
good.
come lay off people. But
So they hired the Bobs
yeah,
from
effectively,
from
yes. I mean,
Office Space.
it,
That's
it,
funny. That's not funny, but yeah.
it's just a mob with a corporate structure that has
Right. Right.
an LLC or whatever, C corp behind it. Anyways, so we're now into, I guess, 24 hours after this little debacle
Hmm.
that Microsoft got themselves into with $70 billion, which is
Yep.
fabulous. They could have built six James Webb telescopes for that kind of money.
I would just look at it as all the money that Microsoft made unfairly for just being in a place and time during a pandemic is being put toward gaming. So you can feel good about that.
Yeah. Every time you
I
pay
don't
that
know.
E3 or E5 license, just know where the margin's going. It's going to
Yeah. Yeah.
activate.
Well, look, we know the future of gaming is the cloud. Microsoft's future is the cloud. I mean, there's the synergy there.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of talk about things I don't necessarily agree with, like the metaverse. I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
There's my wife in the background there. Hey,
Oh
honey,
yeah.
you're in the podcast. Enjoy it. Um, I lost my track there. Yeah, so metaverse stuff don't quite see that. Microsoft doesn't have a big push in VR AR gaming for sure.
Mm.
Activision, to my knowledge, doesn't really. I mean, but
Yeah.
obviously they could have whatever in place. And then the other one is this notion that gaming is the new social media. I got a newsflash for you. Gaming was the old
I
social
was gonna say
media.
it's more of like the original. Like Xbox Live
Yeah,
was the original.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say, for all of the good vibes around Microsoft's stewardship of Mojang and, well, at least of Minecraft and
Mm-hmm.
GitHub, LinkedIn, I guess. I mean, I don't know what would have happened to LinkedIn otherwise, but whatever. I mean, they haven't screwed it up. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
fair enough. The one thing they've really screwed up, and I mean really screwed up, and this has come up a lot in the wake of that Power On documentary where Seamus
Mm-hmm.
Blackley at first appeared on Twitter like the troll under the bridge who's never been out in the world, and then all of a sudden he's visible again. And then Phil
Mm-hmm.
Spencer did something like this as well, where they basically said, we got to end toxicity on Xbox Live. Yeah, you had to do that in 2001, guys.
Yeah.
This has been a problem for the entire duration of this platform. It is a horrific problem. I'm away from my Xbox now, obviously, so I'm not playing games this week, but um, not every day. But I would say at least a couple times a week, I report someone on Xbox Live to Xbox for horrific behavior online.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes off into a black hole. You almost never hear anything about it. And this is one thing Microsoft and Xbox have not done well. So I'm not trying to, put a black mark on all this stuff, but the weird talk around this potential acquisition, I don't understand all of it. I guess is what I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to say.
One of the slightly different deviate here is when they've got Minecraft right now, they have Minecraft for education. They're gonna have Call of Duty. I'm looking forward to Call of Duty for education, where the teachers say, "Come on, kids, put the Hololens on. It's time to storm Normandy."
Oh, there are so many inappropriate jokes to be made around this that I'm just gonna let that one hang in the air. But
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, Minecraft, I think I would say successfully has transitioned into an educational product. It didn't
Oh
make
yeah.
sense to me at first, but I yes, looking at the rest of Activision or looking at Activision's portfolio, I don't see a lot of potential there. But I don't know, whatever. The more I learn about this, the more it makes sense. I think it's
I
and
think they're going
honestly,
to get it
just
through. I
I
think
do
they will.
too. I do too. I think there has to be some regulatory theater that will get through, and then they know that, and that's why they put the 15-month time frame on it.
Hmm.
But they made a good point, I thought, in their announcement where they said, look, when this is done, after we spend $70 billion, we're only going to be the third largest company in game. Like,
Yeah.
and they didn't say only, but but that was the point, right? Tencent and Sony are still both bigger. This is obviously, we talked about this yesterday, I'm sure. The big blow here is to Sony. And this creates the kind of competition I think people want in any market. And I know people are freaking out because there's all big companies getting bigger and consolidation and all that kind of stuff. And look, I'm not an economist. I feel like just as a human being observing the world, this is what happens. For good or bad. It's usually bad. I know that. But on the other hand, we do have these behemoths in the gaming industry. I think we're going to see more consolidation. And I don't think this shuffles the deck too much, other than to make Microsoft more relevant in a market they almost lost
So I was
completely
waiting
about 5 years
for
ago.
Tim Sweeney to go off on Twitter on about this. I don't think he's.
Well,
I don't,
see,
I don't think he's going to.
I
I
don't think so either. But
and
why do you think that is?
here's my
So,
reasoning why.
yeah.
Who Epic has their own game store. Their
Mhm.
number one competitor is Valve, by far,
Right.
by a country mile. If this goes through, Microsoft has massive leverage over Valve. And who is Tim Sweeney in bed with right now?
Okay, thank
Microsoft.
you. That was kind of my point. Look, Tim Sweeney is an altruist. Actually, I don't know if you look this guy up. It's incredible what he's given back to the state he lives in
Mhm.
and to other, kind of organizations and whatnot. But he's also an idealist. He's kind of one of those open source, the world should be free,
Mhm.
kind of people. Uh, it seems like this is the type of thing he shouldn't be approving of.
Yeah. Well, that's my
But
point. Like I would expect him to go ballistic over this, but from a business side, it probably benefits him
yeah,
somewhat.
yeah. Well, a couple of years ago, actually, right before the year before the pandemic, he appeared at Mobile World Congress at a HoloLens event that Microsoft had, and I was like, what is he doing here? There was a transition going on at Microsoft at the time in their thinking around app stores and all that kind of stuff. And I think for him, it's the app store is the problem. He very clearly sees this as an app store thing. So he goes after Google and Apple, obviously on mobile. He went after Microsoft when Windows 8 started its own app store. Um, I don't know what his stance is on Steam. I mean, other than they're the big competitor in his market, like you said. Um, I don't know. Does this change the App Store thing? They're going to put games on Game Pass. Their App Store is still open. Their game App Store, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
Maybe it doesn't change much for him.
Yeah. I don't think it will. I don't think this impacts them
There could
all
be
that
more.
much.
There's no reason Activision games can't be on the Epic Game Store.
Right. Exactly. There's
You know,
nothing.
so
So we'll see what happens there. A couple more details that came out. The CEO of Activision, Bobby over there, absolutely does not sound like he will have a job over at Microsoft once this
By the
closes.
way, did you know this? I just read the news. I just read this in a news story this morning. That guy's been CEO of Activision since 1991.
I didn't realize it's in '91. Wow.
That's what it said. Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? Now I just read this and now I'm just saying it, and maybe I'm completely wrong. But I looked at it like, wait,
Hmm.
what? Like,
It's a long time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Activision in the 1980s was a cute little company made up of ex-Atari developers that
Hmm.
were tired of their names not appearing on games. And so all of their early games, Pitfall and
Yep.
Barnstorming, I think was one, had very prominently featured developer names. It was like I guess, arguably the first developer-centric game studio, I guess is the way to put it.
Hmm.
The company that exists today is a conglomerate corp. It's doing what Microsoft has done, which is they bought a lot of studios. They
Yep.
created bought and created a lot of IP, and they're kind of like the Disney of, they have a lot of franchises.
Yeah, they do. Quite a few.
Yeah.
As we noted a little bit there, if anybody's interested in a Surface Laptop SE, your wildest dreams are now more palatable because you can get your hands on one, I guess, in theory.
Yeah, if you want to own the first Surface not to come in a 3x2 display form factor,
Mhm.
it's also, it's highly repairable. I mean, maybe there's a a clue here to the future of mainstream Surface devices about
Maybe.
repairability.
I mean, they've definitely trended a little bit better towards like repairability, at least with swapping it, the
Yeah.
solid state drive and whatnot. But yeah,
I feel like a lot of education, especially K through 12 education, is a self-service situation,
mm-hmm.
and it's tough. As if teachers don't have enough to deal with these days. They have to be IT for classrooms. They have to maybe even service these devices, and so they've made it so that that's possible. There's not much you can complain about there. I mean, obviously these things are terrible, as are all $250 education laptops. Microsoft put out a blog post highlighting all of those computers that are coming with Windows 11 SE, and they are all equally fantastic. I think it's the way to put it. So, good luck, kids. Good luck. Nothing's going to sell you on a Mac faster than using this piece of crap. Yeah.
Wow. Or a Chromebook, maybe. Yeah, you can't count out Chromebooks. Oh, my computer just did something. Didn't it look orthodox? The whole screen just kind of twitched, and now I have a widget in the bottom left of the new weather widget on this thing, but it's frozen. We'll just not mess with that for a minute. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Cool.
Oh no, there it goes.